My name is Darren.
Hello.
This is my wife Chantal. We're back talking about adoption. Just want to refresh everyone of what we're doing. We're talking about taboo topics that surround adoption and just giving you our perspective and how we dealt with adoption.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've made a video. We've been dealing with sicknesses of all sorts in the whole household and just a lot of things going on. We're going on a missions trip, and so we've been fundraising for that and just been busy. But thanks for your patience, and we hope you enjoyed this video.
All right, so we're just going to dive right on into it. So the question we're talking about today are the hidden fears that come with adoption. So the question is, there can be many fears associated with adoption. Can you share one or two fears you had or have when it comes to your adoption placement? So I'll start off with this one.
Sure.
The main fear I had when it came to adoption was attachment or bonding with our adopted child. I thought that, when we adopted our baby, how was I going to bond with this child? Would I feel as if this child was my child? Would the child bond to me? And I was just really concerned about that.
Yeah, you were. You really were. I wasn't as much concerned about that. I just felt I'm just naturally bond with people pretty quickly and easily, and so I felt like if this was going to be our child, it'd be okay. However, it was a little different for me when we brought the boys home, and so with Camille, we both I think bonded really quickly, but with the boys it took a little longer. We bonded and we were definitely parents, but the actual connection I think took a little longer because it was such a shock of, oh, we have twins now. And it just that adjustment with 3 kids that were under 2 years old, and just really figuring everything out. But I think it clicked after probably about a couple of weeks with the boys. It was just that initial shock.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, with Camille, it was nothing short of the Holy Spirit coming in and bonding our family together. Because I had never really had experience holding children, feeding children, changing children, especially little kids.
Right.
But I took right to it. I mean, I was feeding her.
Yeah.
I was holding her. I was playing with her, and I never had any experience with that. So, structurally or just with children in my family,
right?
But I took it, and there was nothing short of God. And I agree with you with the boys. It was more so like a shock issue and just trying to find our equilibrium as a family, our sleep, our work, and how that all worked. But again, the Holy Spirit came in and we were able to manage.
And so my boys are my boys and our daughter is our daughter, and so we're all very close, and it's to a point now where we sometimes forget that our kids are adopted. And so we definitely celebrate adoption, and it's something that we celebrate and we always will talk about for the rest of our lives with them. But we are all so close, and so it's just like, oh, that's right, that's right, you are adopted. So it's a pretty cool thing. And so if you are having fears or wondering about, man, am I going to be able to bond or attach to this child? I really feel like you will. It may not be overnight, but I know there's birth parents that deal with the same thing and may go through postpartum depression and have the same type of hesitation. So it's really something that will just be organic and natural for you. And if it takes more time than others, that's fine. So.
And if that is a concern of yours, the best thing that Chantal and I talk about is that, if it's an issue you think you might deal with or are dealing with, take it to God. Just pray about it. Just say, Lord, I'm concerned about this, I just need your help. Please come into this situation, and I guarantee you'll listen to that prayer, and as long as it's lining up to his word, he will step in and fill in the gap for you. Yeah,
very true, very true. How did you feel about being a man and adopting, just the bonding as a father? Because I know for women it's a little bit more natural for bonding and attachment, but how did you feel as a man? Can you speak on that?
Well, I think that goes back into my fears and concerns about bonding. I mean, like you said, I think for a woman, I'm just speaking. I think for a woman, it's just a little bit more natural, more fluid, and typically for a man, even if it is biological, there's a little bit more time. And I was thinking, on top of being a man, on top of the adoption element, you know, there could be some real issues, you know, providing for the child, you know, am I going to feel like waking up and changing diapers in the middle of the morning? Am I going to feel like feeding the baby? Am I going to feel attached? You know, if I'm holding the baby, will I feel like this is my child? Will that child feel like I am their parent? I was really concerned about that.
Yes, you were.
And, you know, that never happened.
No.
That never happened. I mean, the moment I held our daughter, I melted.
Yeah.
And then, you know, over time, you know, as I was holding my boys, I melted. So.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree too. So that was definitely a fear that we talked about a lot, about the bonding. Another fear that sometimes will come up with us when we are adopting. Sorry, one of our sons speaking up. But we'll hurry up. But one of our fears, another fear for me was, what if this falls through? What if we get through and we do all the paperwork, we get to that very last step of just waiting to be chosen, and we got chosen, and after that, you know, revocation period for here in our state is 10 days, which means you have to wait for 10 days for the birth parent to sign the final termination papers. It says they're revoking all parental termination. That was the longest 10 days of our lives. You know, so we just, you know, focused on getting the house ready and getting her room ready and doing stuff as if she was coming, and we just claimed it that she was going to be ours. But we know there are so many families that day doesn't come, where they get the phone call and say, no, things changed. And so one thing that we did was just operate on faith and not our fears, and, you know, and just trust that she's our daughter, unless otherwise stated. But in the meantime, that's our daughter.
I agree. I mean, it was definitely a faith walk.
What are you laughing about?
It was definitely a faith walk.
The boys.
It was definitely a faith walk, and you know, we just claimed it. And you know, we just said, you know, Lord, if we believe that this is our child, and we believe that you have chosen this child for Chantal and I, and we're just going to stand on that.
And we just also relied on whatever God's will is. And so if it was God's will for our child to be raised and parented by her birth parents, then that would have been done. And so we would have been okay with that too. It would have been very hard because we, you know, we already had bonded and attached without meeting her, and already formulated that this is our daughter, and, you know, connected. But we also knew that God's will be done. And so if we got that call and said, no, you know, birth mom changed her mind, she decided to parent, then as hard as it would have been, we would have loved our little girl enough to say, okay, we understand, and just pray for her. And so there's always a risk associated with anything you do.
Absolutely.
Falling in love, there's a risk, you know. Driving to work, there's a risk. And so it's just one of those things where you don't worry about the fear so much. You just keep walking through your fears. And even if you continue to maintain those fears, that's fine, as long as you're not letting it stop you and, you know, just completely immobilize you. So all right, well, stay tuned for another video. We gotta go be parents. And I apologize for the editing in advance. Sometimes I don't have time to get to it, but we really just want to make sure you guys get this video and are encouraged. And so if anybody's having hesitations about adopting, please just be encouraged. Contact us at adoptionchoseus at gmail.com. If you have any questions, you can email me, and we can talk, and Darren, and we can talk to you a little bit further. And stay tuned. We'll also be having some upcoming seminar sessions that we'll let you know about. All right, take care and be blessed.
See you soon.